Live, trance, and prosper. Hello, I'm Dr. Brian David Phillips, and I'd like to welcome you to this little question-seeking thingy. I'd like to ask the question, what is interactive drama? Now, this presentation is actually part of the research I've done as part of a research project that I've started many years ago. I first started academic research in my doctoral dissertation. Now, since I have a background in drama and literature, my BA, or Bachelor of Arts degree, is in speech and drama from Kansas Wesleyan University. I have an MA in communication and theater from Pittsburgh State University, and my PhD is in English and comparative literature from National Taiwan University, with a doctoral dissertation on interactive drama, critical perspectives on freeform role plays as drama. I really enjoy looking into interactive drama and to do formal academic work on the subject. The whys, the wherefores, the wherevers, and what have yous of interactive drama and related activities. Now, this is partly because of my drama background, and I do teach drama. I teach theater, acting, production, and directing. I also teach drama and dramaturgy at the university, and I'm a gamer. And so interactive drama is, boom, right down my alley. I'd like to do more work along these lines when I get a chance to really sit down and work it all out, in addition to my work in hypnosis, and I've combined hypnosis or trance work and interactive drama and gaming as well. I really would like to see a closer look taken at interactive drama, or if you prefer, interactive drama can also be called standalone scenario based free-form live-action role-playing games. Okay, but it's scenario-based and rather than and theater style rather than the live combat style. But if we look at forms of interactive dramas or mind's-eye theater, interactive literature, free forms, interactive theater, murder mystery, whodunits, and other live-action role-play systems, we can see some similarities and we can see some wonderful things. And I'd like to see how they relate to more traditional drama in performance, either standard box set drama or theater, as well as improvisational forms and literature. Now, in this short talk, I'd like to go over some ideas and concepts. The first place I'd like to stop is a formal discussion of critical and theoretical perspectives on interactive drama. Specifically, I'd like to take a theoretical look at the interactive literature of interactive drama activities, which carry many similarities to drama, scenario dramas, and improvisational theaters, commedia dell'arte, etc. However, there are some differences which are striking that we also might want to look at. The differences are striking to me, and to me they are also quite profound. Now, in these activities, and there are a very large variety which I would need to categorize, participants are given character descriptions from which they improvise scenes with other participants. Basically, through role play, the characters interact until the problem or conflict of the scenario is solved or resolved. The performers in interactive dramas are unaware of the final solution until they have come by it through role play. Usually there are red herrings built into the plot which the characters must analyze and discard before coming to the author's conclusion. However, how they come about their solution may very well be quite different from the author's predictions. And there are typically multiple possible outcomes. In some cases, an infinite number of possibilities, although the interactive dramatist may plan for a few. And so they've set up avenues to those, just as you would in a choose your own adventure type scenario. In a nutshell, interactive drama takes some of the early presuppositions behind environmental theater and its desire to break down the invisible wall which separates audience from performer and explodes them by having the audience become the performer, while maintaining the performance of a loose narrative. Now, this explanation of interactive drama and my proposed approach is somewhat simplified here for brevity, because this is a talk on video and we don't have time to do a 57-hour presentation or discussion. Take a course and do that. I don't want to give the impression that there's not much literature involved here. Okay, the scenarios are often quite detailed. Most of the written preparation is as lengthy and as detailed as a play or even a novella. In fact, one published scenario of White Wolf's Mind's Eye theater system, The Elder's Revenge, for the Masquerade setting based upon the vampire tabletop role-playing game world, actually incorporates traditional drama within its construct. The participants role-play characters who must rehearse and perform a play with characters performing characters performing characters. Now, these are not simple theater games or role plays. They tend to be bona fide scenarios of a much more complicated sort. Now, there's a lot here similar to Richard Schechner's environmental theater, except that the play no longer simply involves the audience with the performer, or the audience observing the performance. The audience becomes both performer and actor. There are also some strong parallels to the closed system techniques found in Jacob Levy Moreno's Theater of Spontaneity and psychodrama, parts of which were addressed by National Taiwan University professor Chiu-Ching Jung's Lee's dissertation, What Trick Hast Thou Now? 4 studies of Falstaff. But this problem would be much more directed towards drama theoretics rather than Shakespearean criticism, such as closed performances with actor as audience, except that instead of performing for catharsis and therapy, the participants are performing for pleasure and escapism, albeit there are some elements of catharsis here, but not necessarily for a therapeutic nature. That's not the primary goal of the pieces. Although one group in Australia did experiment with shock drama for cathartic effect, but the nature of the scenarios were usually too graphic and powerful, so organizers shut them down. All right, and you could read, if you read some of my papers on this subject, you'll see some references for those, or go to the Interactive Dramas website and see a lot of discussion on that type of drama as well as other types of interactive drama. I have found a few interactive theater troupes, particularly in the United States, which use interactive drama for performances related to sexual abuse education. And if we take a look at more recent developments in the Scandinavian interactive drama or LARPing communities, we can see some incredibly interesting things that have happened. fact, the Scandinavian groups and their conferences and their journals have allowed a great deal of an explosion, perhaps, in the study, the formal academic study of interactive drama, and they have influenced other groups elsewhere, particularly in the United States, Canada, the UK, and other European nations, as well as somewhat in Australia, although Australia has a long history of independent work and experimental interactive drama, which some of my work has delved into that before, so you can play around with that if you like. But other groups, most groups actually, employ the techniques of interactive drama for purely entertainment motives. Participants in interactive drama or scenario-based theater-style live-action role-playing games usually do not think of themselves as performing a theoretical function. They see themselves as involved in an activity they do for the fun of it. It is their hobby. I find the theoretical implications of what they do to be very, very interesting and extremely exciting stuff. But then I'm an academic. It's who I am. It's what I do. Whoa! And I also use role plays and interactive dramas in educational settings for a number of different reasons. Now, incidentally, I do prefer the term interactive drama or freeform as it is used in the UK and Australia. I prefer those terms. I find them more preferable to LARP or live action role playing as it's used in the United States. Although interactive drama theater is also a very accurate in its description, albeit the term interactive theater seems to have been appropriated by groups experimenting with virtual theater, with live actors and computer simulated components or environments and objects. So unfortunately also interactive drama, the term, may also be similarly appropriated by those creating a new breed of computer entertainment featuring completely computer generated actors and stages. But for now, it serves our purposes, and I prefer the term to LARP, which can be confused with live combat games and things like that, or simulationist activities like the Society of Creative Anachronism. Now, naturally, I would like to have all the definitions and the like in my work when I do work on interactive drama, but I tend to just focus on interactive drama itself. Now, contemporary interactive drama, in the sense I'm discussing here, has been around since the late 1960s and early 1970s. Its growth paralleling that of tabletop role-playing games. Actually, many of the troupes have used tabletop RPGs as their source material for their interactive drama scenarios and activities. However, the activity can also be seen to have been around much longer than this. In A Distant Mirror, the calamitous 14th century, historian Barbara Tuchman described games played in the French court in which attendees at a dinner were given papers with a description of a character from the chanson de guest, the do to take care of the guest or the activity of the day, and then played out an unscripted play in the role of that character. For this reason, Gordon Olmsted Dean, who a past president and organizer of the Interactive Literature Foundation, calls the activity a new art, but not a new art form. Interactive drama is indeed new art, and in its relation to drama and to literature. Now, there are several theoretical or critical approaches we could take when examining interactive drama. I'd like to outline a few here. try not to be too pedantic about it, but basically I see the finished text of this kind of analysis or this kind of work as encompassing several sections, beginning with a brief history to provide background, which we're in, for the subject within the framework of a project, followed by material related to the writing and practice, and then several theoretical approaches to the problem of interactive drama when examined as drama or literature. Okay, and I have taught courses in role play at the university and interactive drama, and eventually we'll be doing full graduate seminars on the subject with my own doctoral and master's level students. One of the most obvious critical approaches to interactive drama is as a form of deconstructed drama. In much the same way we now have deconstructive film, deconstructive art, deconstructive architecture, and the like. In fact, these were all central studies in a number of my doctoral seminars that I took from Professor Robert Mayola at National Taiwan University. Yes, that Robert Mayola, long ago when dinosaurs walked the earth, and I was a student, a lowly student looking for his PhD. Now, in practice, interactive drama freeforms do use a method of delivery for the narrative which is fairly deconstructive in nature. While in traditional drama, the actors perform from a script and do not deviate with the audience watching to discover the story, the participants in a freeform or interactive drama are the audience and the actors. There usually is a scenario with each character performing a narrative function in the plot, but they create the final outcome together through improvisational means, with the complete story and its implications to the characters. It isn't revealed until the final scene. The interactive drama paradigm is also used extensively within the written portions of the activity, with notes on costuming, props, scene, and structure. Usually, participants come to the venue in full costume and makeup as appropriate, or as appropriate to whatever the activity is. Certainly, I've done interactive dramas with my students at the university where there was no makeup or costuming involved because they were pick-me-up activities for a classroom situation. But for most troops that routinely perform or play these kind of scenarios or games, they do indeed make an effort toward costuming and makeup. As drama is literature intended for performance, freeforms or interactive drama are also literature intended for performance, but the means are different enough to be considered two different, albeit related, literary forms or activities. Perhaps some of the critical ideas presented by Peter Brunette and David Wills about film have crossover value here for those interested in that sort of theoretical framework. A few other worthwhile approaches that we might look at interactive drama through the lens of might include reader response theory, which can also be adapted to this subject, as can Harold Bloom's anxiety of influence, Schechner's theater and anthropology, along with Turner's theater and as ritual, and Viola Spolin's theater games, of course, and naturally dear to my heart because of the context I was first exposed to it. Suzanne Langer's work on the theory of aesthetics might also prove useful here. Now, Keith Johnstone's work on improvisation in theater has obvious application in terms of discussing interactive drama performance styles, and a few of John Elsom's wonderful observations about erotic theater also apply. We might also be interested in observing or discussing interactive drama in a critical way through semiotics, sign, and meaning of interactive drama. That might be an interesting approach as well, and there are a few folks doing work in that area even as I speak right now. Another approach which would prove useful would be a rather straightforward comparative style study in which the basic tenets and practices of interactive drama and traditional dramatic forms are outlined. Of course, this is also the underlying purpose of a great deal of my own work, since I do have traditional theatrical background and a great deal of experience now that I'm an old fogey in interactive drama work. These are just some of the theoretical stances which might prove helpful in a critical approach to interactive drama for those who are interested in that sort of study. Okay? However, as far as information about the specific practice, creation, and performance of interactive drama goes, I'm very fortunate in terms of getting materials. There are several forums available via the internet and Facebook and just the web itself. Through these, I was able to, early on in my own work, way back in the early 1990s, late 80s, early 90s, through these channels I could make contact with freeformers in the United States, England, Australia, and elsewhere. And through that, I'm able to build a web page, www.interactivedramas.info, as an archive of interactive drama scenarios. And if you're watching this, and if you've gotten this far, I know that you're serious about the subject. And if you have access to such scenarios and wish to share them, and meaning you also have the rights to share them, please contact me via the website. I'm very happy to take that material. In fact, I also founded an independent, peer-reviewed academic journal in the Journal of Interactive Drama. And each issue, along with academic papers, also includes at least one scenario or review, which you're certainly free to submit to in that respect. So as you can see, my primary information sources are quite robust in this topic, and I've thought a lot about different ways of thinking about interactive drama critically. What is it in terms of a discussion beyond the more simplistic, basic, practical definitions. And of course, I have other videos that you can take a look at regarding that subject, as well as the articles and papers on my website, interactivedramas.info. Not only does this topic fit in with my own research interests and my background in drama, it's also related to similar activities I use with many of the classes I teach as an associate professor at this time at National Zhengshu University in Taipei, Taiwan, including my oral training or conversation classes and my drama and theater classes, as well as a few of the more advanced doctoral and master's level classes in theoretical literature. I also have quite a few publications on similar topics. I've written a regular column for a local magazine. I used to write regularly about LARPing and other forms of games for one of the most popular gaming magazines in Taiwan. But that was years ago. I haven't written for them for quite a while. But my interest is still there, and I hope that you have enjoyed this short talk on this subject. Until I see you next time, please be sure to go to www.interactivedramas.info and have a good one. I almost said www.briandavidphillips.com. You can go there too. It's awesome as well. But this little talk is about the interactive drama aspect of my work. Till I see you next time, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live, trance, and prosper. Bye-bye.